Hello, scholars. In this video, I am going to be going over the Think About It letter A. Marcy is going to conduct a probability experiment of tossing a coin and seeing how many times it lands on heads. Predict how many times Marcy can expect the coin to land on heads if she conducts 10 trials. So in this question, they are asking us to make a prediction. And the way we're going to make a prediction is by using theoretical probability. And essentially, what theoretical probability is, it's what should happen. Okay. So think about if we were to flip a coin 2 times. I want you to think for about 5 seconds here. How many times do you think it would land on heads? If you chose 1, you accurately found the theoretical probability of a coin landing on heads if we were to flip it 2 times. If not, no worries. That's what we're going to go ahead and do as we are working on this question. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this together. We got the probability, so that's what the P stands for, of a coin landing on heads. And the method we're going to be using here is we're going to create a proportion box. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this proportion box together. And this proportion box is going to include 2 fractions here that are equivalent to each other. All right, and on our left side, we'll have a fraction, and we'll also have a fraction on the right side. Before we dive into this question too much, I want to make sure we also label this proportion box. The denominator is always going to represent our total outcome. So I'm going to put T in the denominator for total outcomes. And the numerator is going to be our desired result. So looking back at the question, the desired result is the coin landing on heads. So I'm going to title the numerator H for heads. So our first step here is to find out how many outcomes are there. Okay, so you flip a coin, there's a couple things that could happen, right? So it could land on heads, so I'll write H for that. Or it could land on tails, and I'll write T for that. And that's about it. So we have a total of 2 outcomes. So let's go ahead and write that in our denominator for the total outcomes. And next, let's go ahead and write the number that represents our desired results, which is heads. And it looks like we only have 1 time that it would land on heads. So that's going to be in our numerator. And now we're ready to make our prediction. And in this question, they want us to make a prediction for 10 trials. So that's 10 total outcomes. So we're going to put a 10 in the denominator. And at the moment, we don't know how many times it will land on heads if we were to flip the coin 10 times. So I'm going to write an X in the numerator to represent that. So let's make sure we know how to read this box. This box means if we were to flip a coin 2 times, it's going to land on heads once. If we were to flip a coin 10 times, we're not quite sure how many times it should land on heads yet, but we could find out by using cross multiplication. So 2 times X is 2X. Bring down that equal sign. 1 times 10 is 10. And now we got ourselves a 1-step equation. So this is 2 times X. I need to get rid of that 2. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is to divide by 2. So I need to do that to both sides of my equation. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so that cancels out. Bring down our X, bring down the equal sign, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, right? So that's our answer, but let's just make sure we understand what this 5 means. This 5 would go right in the place of that X, so that means it would represent that if we were to flip a coin 10 times, it's probably going to land on heads about 5 times.